Thank you very much. I welcome you all to this conference, which the Center on Japanese Economy and Business has made an annual event in Tokyo ever since the center's 20th anniversary 12 years ago. Forgive me if I try to read my notes, otherwise I will start talking about something completely strange and different. And so I have to stay on my text and more or less stay on time. I'm really glad to see so many of my friends here, and I'm looking forward to making new friends in the reception afterwards. And we have a great conference. We've got tremendous important topics, the two topics, and we have a great keynote speaker and two sets of fantastic panels. When I was figuring out what I wanted to say today, I realized it was pretty much what I said last year, except 1 year long. The focus, as always, is on the Japanese economy, domestically, bilaterally, regionally, globally. But of course, the geopolitical context is always important, and especially these days. Both the Japanese and the American economies are doing great, with good sustained GDP growth per capita, low unemployment, and continuing price stability, though the U.S. is ahead on Japan in terms of reaching the 2% target. My sense is that the global economic system is strong and will persist strong, but it will continue to have many disquieting international challenges because of the geopolitical environment. Brexit, Middle East, the challenges and opportunities of continually rising China, the ongoing U.S. negotiations with North Korea may reduce the North Korean threat, not only for the United States, but for Japan and other Asian countries. But we'll have to wait and see how the Trump-Kim summit turns out, assuming they will meet either on June 12 or sometime after that, but I think they will be meeting. Last fall, in trying to decide what of many possible topics we could be considering here, we decided, of course, that trade would be essential. President Trump had withdrawn from TPP. Japan faced the challenge of deciding to pursue TPP 11 without the United States and implement it with the other 10 members. And I noticed that now you've just, in the lower house, passed that in Japan. Moreover, U.S.-Japan trade relations have become subject to President Trump's tariff on steel and aluminum. And as you know, his approach is bilateral rather than multilateral. So we're particularly delighted to have Wendy Cutler, who I term a trade policy guru, to be our keynote speaker. And we look forward to what she will have to say. She'll be introduced by Professor Merritt Jano. As you have been told, unfortunately, our second keynote speaker, Taro Aso, will not be able to join us today. He has been called away to the Diet. I don't need to explain that to you all, I think. Well, we're disappointed that he can't be here, but we understand that public duties must come first. As a consequence of this, we are going to extend the term session for each panel by 15 minutes. And that will be time well used because these are great panels. I mentioned the panel one on trade, and panel 2 is on FinTech. FinTech is a longer-term process, not a one-shot deal. And it drives many Japanese financial institutions and others who are in the process of undergoing what I think is a major transformation driven by technological innovation, particularly fin and tech, I should say. Since I have the podium, let me make a few comments. First, as you know, the United States and Japan have a very substantive broad-based alliance and relationship as well-developed democracies, well-educated, skilled labor forces, and market-based economic systems. While the security treaty, of course, is key, I think we do not sufficiently appreciate the strength and dimensions of our private business and economic relationships and our person-to-person relationships. It's really nice that Americans and Japanese like each other. Second, we all have to deal with the reality that Donald Trump is the United States president and will continue as president until 2020, given his personality and his style. We may be paying too much attention to his impulsive tweeting of extraordinary and at times contradictory statements. Nonetheless, he is engaging in what I call trade skirmishes, not trade war yet. But what counts will be how the Trump administration pursues policies and how Congress supports it or not. But please remember that the focus of today is on Japan, not Trump, and economics, not politics or security relations. Third, Prime Minister Abe has done a really good job of bonding and dealing with Trump, exemplified most recently in their April 17-18 meeting in Florida. While it's clear that Trump wants a bilateral trade agreement with Japan, I think Japan is continuing to maintain its multilateral commitment. No doubt Wendy Cutler and the first panel will be providing insights on the forthcoming discussions that are going to be held between U.S. Trade Representative Robert Lighthizer, I always mispronounce his name, Lighthizer, and Economic Revitalization Minister Toshimitsu Motegi. Much easier to pronounce Japanese names. And I think this is a major implementation of the U.S.-Japan Economic Dialogue program, which was, I think, pleasantly superficial under Vice President Mike Pence and Deputy Prime Minister Taro Aso. It's not that it was bad, it was nice. It was just that now this is going to add further substance to it. Fourth, frankly, I've been surprised and dismayed that Japan was it was the only major ally that was not given an exemption from Trump's steel and aluminum tariff impositions. Economically, it won't affect Japanese exports to the United States much, but I don't like this symbolism that it implies. But I'm sure, again, Wendy and our panelists will have a lot to say about that. Let me end on a personal note. First, I'm going to continue serving as CJEB director for some time. I'm in good health, I have reasonable energy, and I love what I'm doing. Professor Weinstein and I will continue to be closely involved in sort of any strategic decisions about the center. Eventually he will replace me, but he tells me he's in no hurry, and I believe him. Professor Takatoshi Ito, since joining the Columbia faculty, has provided great new leadership and momentum. He's completely organized the second panel today, and for which he's the moderator. Alicia Ogawa continues to be a stalwart member of our team, and she was in Japan recently on behalf of CJEB's corporate governance project. Obviously, I'm really proud of CJEB. It's well managed and handled by our team of 5 administrators led by Ryoko Ogino, Director for Administration. Ryoko plays a central administrative role at CJEB and has played a key role in organizing this conference, and she's here. I couldn't run CJEB without Ryoko. Emiko Mizumura, our wonderful Assistant Director for Programs, who has played also a special administrative role for this conference, and indeed for many CJEB events, is also here. So Ryoko and Emiko, is Emiko here? But you are. Please stand up, Ryoko. Stand up. Yes. The Columbia Business School really appreciates the center and likes us. They provide us office space and basic administrative support, but they don't provide any money. So CJEB relies fundamentally upon outside corporate sponsorship for the funding of our staff and center programs and activities. The materials you've received include a list of our 35 corporate and 10 individual sponsors. And we thank all of you for your continuing annual support. I also want particularly to thank Sumitomo Corporation, which has been a major CJEB funder from our very beginning. And particularly in this space, it's especially appropriate to thank the Development Bank of Japan, which provides this wonderful venue and is a colleague in so many good ways. This is not written down, but please interpret. We're always looking to have new corporate sponsors. So if any of you know of any companies that might be interested in talking with us, we'd be delighted to talk with them. So please introduce us. That's my one sales pitch, I guess. Basically, it takes people, ideas, connections, money, and hard work to achieve success. CJEB is fortunate in having it all, and I know CJEB will continue to contribute to our understanding of Japan and its economic and business systems long into the future. I now want to turn this over to Merit Jano, who is Dean of the School of International and Public Affairs, known as CEPA, and is Professor of Professional Practice in International Economics, Law, and International Affairs at Columbia. Dean Jano is a renowned expert in international trade and investment and has extensive experience in academia, government, international organizations, and business. In addition to being Dean of CEPA, she and I are co-directors of Columbia's APEC Study Center. She also chairs the university's Faculty Oversight Committee for Columbia's Global Center for East Asia. She's written extensively and frequently speaks before business, policy, and academic audiences around the world. And we're good friends. So I'm going to turn it over to you. So thank you very much.